Tay, Chef Carmen's wife, gives us a play-by-play of the events leading up to when she found out Rico was gone. She expresses how she was concerned and they all were worried and how she recalls things. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below.
Hey Lena, how are you?
I'm good, dear. How are you?
I'm trying my best to navigate this situation.
Hmm.
I'm very disheartened. I'm very sad. My heart is broken. And I feel like this is all some kind of nightmare.
Yeah.
Um, and the thing is, you know, I was very worried about Rico when I didn't hear from him on Monday. You know, I
Hmm.
went by the house. I'm seeing products in the house and mail with other people's names. And I'm
Hmm.
not understanding what's going on because I don't go over there. So it's not like I didn't go to his house like
Hmm.
that. And if I did, it was very sporadically here and there. And, we were in the dark. I told Rico that he was welcome to come to the house, because at least I had, some stuff in the refrigerator or whatever. And, we could light the stove if need be and make a meal or something like that. And he said that he had food. And as a matter of fact, when we were out on Friday, um, you know, I was, I hadn't eaten. So I'm like, hey, let's stop over here at McDonald's. I asked him if he wanted something. He said no, he had eaten a sandwich. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, and so Rico is an adult. He is a grown man that is fully capable of making his own money outside of whatever Carmen in his agreement is or was. I have nothing to do with that. I don't know anything about that.
Hmm.
So I paid Rico for helping me, um, with my shipments and things of that nature. And then when I'm being told about stuff,
Hmm.
I offer my assistance. So, and I even have put my own things on the back burner to assist Rico. Because if you are telling me that, you're low on funds, I don't know where you're spending your money at. I don't know what you're spending your money on. That's not my responsibility. You're not my child. I raised my child.
Hmm.
He's grown. But if my son needs me for anything, I'm going to be there for him.
Hmm.
But as a grown man, it is not my responsibility to make sure that you are fed. It is not my responsibility to make sure you are clothed. None of these things are my responsibility. When I do things, I do them out of the kindness of my heart. I do them out of love. I don't do them because I have to do them.
Right.
So that is, let me make that very clear. I don't do them because I have to. I am under no obligation to do anything.
And
So,
that's what I mentioned earlier. Even with Chef, I said Chef chose to do it. I mean, she's not obligated to do anything for him at the end of the day. But
mhm.
go ahead.
And like I said, he ran errands here and there. It wasn't every day and it wasn't all day. It wasn't like you were running errands, 30 hours a week. If anything, you may have been running errands 10 hours a week. But like I said, I gave Rico money, cash and cash apps.
Hmm.
And again, I think somebody was mentioning the tires or something that were needed for the Jeep.
Hmm.
Okay, so here we go. You're a grown person. You have capability. There's nothing wrong with you. You do not receive a government check. Your bills are paid for, and you getting other monies. So I don't know what you're doing with your money because again, I don't track grown people and their spending. That's not my job. So, when I first found out about the tires on Friday of the hurricanes. I mean, the tornado. So we
Hmm.
didn't have any lights Thursday or whatever. I found out about the tire situation on Friday. My what I had done and what I had done over the past couple of weeks is I talked to Rico. I said, well, Carmen is out here and, things have changed drastically since she lost her initial Facebook page and money isn't flowing like it normally is. But here's something for you to think about. You are driving a vehicle, you are capable of running errands, you're doing all of this stuff. Why don't you go ahead and set yourself up? And this had been talked about, over the last 2 months. So this is not anything new. Why
Yeah.
don't you get set up with Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever. So he said he preferred to go ahead and just, drive and go pick up deliveries versus having people in the vehicle. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, because the vehicle was kind of like untidy. I'll just
Hmm.
say that.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, that's cool. So I took time out of my day that I could have been doing my schoolwork or anything that I had to handle. And I set him up on his phone by myself, but him there. I set up Uber Eats. I set up DoorDash. I set up Lyft on his phone. I said, Rico, you have a lot of downtime. Go ahead and utilize some of this downtime while Carmen is away to go ahead and make money. Utilize it. You're not here with me all day, every day. You might be here with me at pockets of time doing things or going to run a couple errands, but that's it. So use this time as an able bodied grown man and go make you some money. Rico chose not to utilize any of those apps that I put on his phone. Not one. So then I actually got him set up the week of the tornado. Well, the tornado hit, everything was blacked out in our area for about a good 10 miles. The only thing open was the grocery store. I couldn't even do my schoolwork. It was chaotic. I offered Rico to stay here. Rico declined. We got coolers, we got ice. I gave Rico one of those coolers and I gave him ice for anything that he had at the house. Well, I know he said he was eating sandwiches, turkey sandwiches or whatever. I'm like, turkey can go bad. So let me go ahead and make sure that you have something where you can keep your perishables in those containers or whatever. And even Thursday, before the lights went out, I had actually cooked earlier in the week, like a day before, and I gave him, those leftovers so that he can take them there. I have offered Rico to come over and eat. If I've cooked, hey, get you something. Okay. Again, either he takes it or he doesn't take it. But I know that on that medicine, he said that he really wasn't that hungry. So that day on Friday, when we went to McDonald's, he said he just ate and he wasn't hungry. So, okay, cool. You know, outside of that, you know, I don't know other things. I don't know, his agreement with Carmen. I have no idea. And if you have a problem with anything, say something. You know, like I said to him when I found out about the tires, Rico, I will go ahead and get you the tires. But when you start working and driving, eventually over time, you'll have to pay me back, but we'll figure that out. So Saturday morning, I called Rico and I asked him what he was doing. He was like, oh, I'm preparing to go out of town. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's what he told me. And that was, and that's what I believed. So whether he went out of town or didn't go out of town, I don't know. I'm not checking up on grown people like that. So I said, well, did you get over to the tire shop so that I can know, how much these tires are going to be? He said, oh, I forgot. I'm like, you forgot? But if they're important, why would you be forgetting? So then I asked him later on, because at this point he was supposed to be out of town. I said, well, did you stop by the tire shop before you left because I didn't hear anything from you. Oh, I forgot, we were in a rush. I'm like, okay. And I left it alone because there's nothing else that I can do. Again, I can't make you do something.
Mhm.
So I called him Sunday night. I said, Rico, did you take your medicine? He said, yeah, I brought it with me. I said, okay. Are you back in town? No, I'm not back. I'll be back in a couple hours. I said, okay. And I left it alone. And then I told him, that I had let him know that the power was back on Saturday because he was supposed to be out of town Saturday night. I let him
Mhm.
know that the power was back on. I think I tried to call him. He didn't answer. So I sent him a text. I didn't get a response back, I think until the next day. But my thing is, are you safe? Yes, you're safe. All right, cool. So I told him that Monday was going to be busy because now that power was back up, I needed to pack stuff. And Jay was coming over, Annette was coming over, or whatever. He was like, okay, I'll see you in the morning. I never heard from Rico. I called him Monday morning. He didn't answer. Called him again. He didn't answer. And I just moved on with my day because that's what I had to do. Business is business and it doesn't stop. But later on, I was going to go by the house and do a wellness check to see if he was okay. And as long as he could have been sick, he could have, his phone could, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to make sure he was okay. But then I got a call from Carmen, like, have you seen Rico? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen Rico, but I was planning on going by there. And, if he didn't knock, then I was going to contact the authorities to see if they could come and do a wellness check, because
Mhm.
I didn't have a key.
Yeah.
And I was genuinely concerned and, went through processes that, we all talked about offline. And that was that. And so, the things that are happening, it's hurtful. And I was really devastated. And
Mhm.
that's really all I can say, you know.
Yeah. It affected everybody. I mean, we were all just, that was really really bad. But I know especially for you and Carmen, um, because when Carmen's not there, you're there with him every day.
Yeah. And I
You're there
mean,
with him
not that I see him every day. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Not that I see him every day because I don't.
Him. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And and then there was periods of time my battery died, his battery probably died. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
all of those things.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here in the dark. I'm like, well, I'm glad it's not hot as hell. I'm sitting here in the dark. I'm sitting here with my phone. I'm going out to the Jeep to charge my phone. I'm having to do those things and I'm having to make do. But
Yeah.
like I said, I offered Rico to stay here. I'm like, hell, I'll go ahead and sleep upstairs if you want to sleep down here. Because my thing is, I just want you to be safe. And if we're together, then we know that we're both good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Unlike what everyone is putting out the narrative right now, that he was in squalor, he was a slave, he was hungry, nobody bought him food. I'm like, are you kidding me?
but this is a grown adult. I'm
At the
confused.
end of the day, it's a grown adult, absolutely. But forget about all the times that everybody's taking, where Carmen is cooking 3 times a day, and then when she's not there, how you're taking them out to eat and you're there cooking for them, and all these other things. Like, it's crazy to me how these people come up with these narratives and try to twist truths to make it, seem as terrible as possible.
Yeah, and